In this room tonight, there are all kinds of people who share a broad spectrum of issues and concerns that affect nearly every segment of our state's population. Next, we will hear the voices of a few people who in their professional and private lives share a passion for representing legislative action and justice, education and opportunity, Latino, Puerto Rican, and multicultural affairs, and business and economic development. They are the Honorable Senator Eric Coleman, George A. Coleman, Interim Director of the Department of Education, Dr. David G. Carter, Chancellor of the Connecticut State University System, Fernando Betancourt, Executive Director of the Latino and Puerto Rican Affairs Commission, and Jerry Long, President and CEO of PCC Technology Group. We begin by Senator Coleman.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. And let me extend a special greetings to the elders, all of the elders who are present this evening. The first thing I want to extend my congratulations to Glenn CASSIS on his appointment as the Executive Director of the African American Affairs Commission. Glenn has a great many accomplishments to his credit. He served with distinction, as you all know, as the Executive Director, and we're so happy to have his vision and his leadership as a part of the African American Affairs Commission. I just wanted to take a moment to share a little bit of history with you regarding the origins of the African American Affairs Commission. And I will tell you that in 1993, I and Representative Green, at that time, it was before he was elected as a state representative, he was an appointed individual to a group called the Connecticut African American Male Task Force. And this particular task force was charged with examining some of the challenges that confronted African American males in the state of Connecticut, including those that had to do with education, employment, housing, health, and the role of the African American male within the family structure. We thought that we did a pretty comprehensive job of examining these issues, and at the end of our work, we issued a set of recommendations. The primary recommendation was the establishment of a commission within the structure of state government that could serve as a resource, research resource, think tank, if you will, a body that was capable of providing significant input into the policy making of the Connecticut State Legislature and the Connecticut Executive Branch of Government. And that was the beginning of a bill that was sponsored by Representative Green and I in 1997. That bill was passed and became Public Act 97, was a part of Public Act 9711. Specifically, it was Section 24 that brought about the establishment of the Connecticut African American Affairs Commission. We believe that it was very important for this commission to have partners in the legislature, and we still believe that today. It would be the fruition of my hopes that the Connecticut Legislative Black and Puerto Rican Caucus work very closely with the African American Affairs Commission and vice versa. And so as we go forward from this day, there may come a point in time, as there have already come during difficult budget years, when some might suggest that there is no longer any necessity for the continued existence of the African American Affairs Commission. And at such point in time, obviously it would be beneficial to the Commission's allies and partners who would come to its aid. The Connecticut Legislative Black and Puerto Rican Caucus, I hope, will be considered an ally and a partner of such significance. And if it should come that some will say that there is no longer any necessity for the continued existence of the African American Affairs Commission in the state of Connecticut, let it be because the African American Affairs Commission in the state of Connecticut has done such extraordinary work that all of the issues have been resolved and the prevailing view of the African American community has been effectively put forth. So, I stand in front of you, commending the commissioners and the staff, welcoming its executive director, and offering myself as an ally and a partner in the endeavors that lie ahead. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. At this time, Mayor Perez, would you come and bring the briefs?
Buenas tardes. Good evening. Good greetings to all of you who assembled here in support of the new beginning of the African American Affairs Commission, and more importantly, to congratulate Glenn and his new day, new beginning, and to celebrate what Glenn has contributed not only to the African American communities that he to the greater Hartford community, the city of Hartford, and to the state, as already been mentioned. Let me pay homage and respect to the elders, and additionally commit myself and congratulate the Commission on its decision to give Glenn Custis the challenge to lead the Commission in a new era, and to let the Commission know that Glenn know that as mayor of the city of Hartford, a community that has the same challenges that any African community faces, not only here in the state, but indeed in this country. And I look forward to the day where, as the Senator mentioned, that there may not be a need for an African American Affairs Commission, or a Latino Puerto Rican Affairs Commission, or a Women's Commission, because we as a community no longer have put up the barriers that stand in the way of the African American community and people of color, people of different genders and different sexual orientation, that we celebrate as a community the humanity that we could all be, and celebrate us as one community, and ensure that every community brings every talent and be appreciated for those talents. And when we do that, we would be a great community. And I look forward to the journey with the African American Affairs Commission, with Glenn as its leader, to meet those challenges, to reduce the barriers to the point that we may not need a commission. And in the meantime, we not only got to nourish the commission, support the commission in its work, but also make sure that we come to the rescue of the commission as a better product. Congratulations, Glenn, and congratulations to the commission for that accomplishment. Always have to give the mayor the time to work the room. Good evening, everybody. My name is George Coleman, and I just want to start off by saying what a pleasure it is to be here, to talk with you, and invite you to be a part of what I hope will be an ongoing dialogue around issues that are so important to us. First of all, I want to congratulate Glenn. Glenn, congratulations. I hope you know that Glenn has received an accolade in terms of being given a proclamation at the beginning of his job, at the beginning of his tenure, and have a day designated for him
at the beginning of this tenure. Most of us, if we are successful at the end, we might get that kind of recognition. I just want to know, and I'm not going to be one to add extra pressure, but you got some big shoes out there to fill and some high expectations from a lot of persons, but I'm going to tell you what I know, and that is that I cannot have identified an individual who is more capable, whose vision is so perspective, whose demeanor is so kind, whose interest is so serious, that lends to carry this mission forward. So Glenn, my congratulations to you. I also want to take the opportunity to express my appreciation to the Commission. That there is a Commission that is in place to inform policymakers about the needs of minority youth is very important. For those who may not know, our minority leadership in Connecticut is probably, in terms of those of us who are in charge of policy making, is probably greater than I can recognize it ever having been in my 20 years of state service. Aside from my position, we have Pat Kohler, who is the Commissioner of Social Services, Pat Mayfield, who is the Commissioner of Labor, and our own David Carter, who is the Chancellor of Education. If we fail to take advantage of those of us who can articulate an action agenda that has the propensity, that has the capability of promoting not only an active legislative agenda that can be attended and realized over time, then we will have squandered the resources that this public has invested in us. And I intend not to be a part of that squandering. And I know my partners, irrespective of the recent political season, are committed to moving forward. Education is crucial to us. Education is crucial to us. It is something that we must all attend to. When we give honor to our elders, and I too give honor to you, it is important for us to understand that just 3 years out of slavery, our elders were putting more than $20 million of their own money in the education of their children. Education has always been at the forefront of what this race, our culture, has been about. And we have got to resuscitate that interest and revive that commitment in our young people to pursue excellence. Glenn, I believe there's a role for the Commission to play with those of us who are agency heads to make sure that is accomplished. I want to share with you for a few minutes some of what I would like the Commission to attend to. One of the things that sometimes I believe is that we don't bring enough of agenda to people who need to serve us. And so again, I don't want to be one who is reticent to do that. In terms of our students' performance in mathematics, and I'm interested particularly in black males because I think that there is a curiousness about them. They are vulnerable in ways that we have not been able to focus public attention. But in mathematics, black males are more than 4 times more likely to perform below basic on the Connecticut assessments. Now, let me just show you what below basic is. Below basic means that that individual does not have the literacy skills in order to do the work, in order to comprehend what the work is. Now, remember, basic is the second tier on our mastery demarcation. It goes all the way up to mastery and advanced. So when we have so many youngsters 4 times the amount than their peers. To be in that category, it is indeed troubling. In reading, 40% of black males have scored at below basic performance level, while only 12% of their white counterparts score in that area. Minority males are 20% more likely than white males to be in special education. Black and Hispanic males constitute 48% of the state's dropout rate. We have a real challenge. This year, I am putting forth to the state legislature some ideas that will put forth some energy, some resources around this particular problem for the first time that I can recall. Last year, we made an appeal. The legislation required that we come back this year with a study on dropouts. After December 6th, that study will be available to the public. I hope that you read it. I hope that you bring me before you or others in my department to make sure that you understand its nuances and that you join the chorus of people, of organizations who are demanding some progress be made in that particular area. We have a great agenda. It is so important that this commission be successful. We all depend upon you. And Glenn, congratulations and thank you for putting yourself forward to be chair or to be leadership within this particular organization. Thank you very much.
Good evening. To the mayor, to each of you, it's indeed a pleasure to be here. My name is David Carter. My mother didn't have the foresight to name me chancellor.
Look at that.
I want you to reflect for a moment, and then I'll talk about the Glenn I know. Think of the 2 verses in the Negro National Anthem. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. The reason I'm chancellor and the reason, Glenn, you're here is because the elders dared to sacrifice, dared to believe, and understood that the impossible was indeed possible. And so I commend you for your faith, your endurance, in spite of all the odds. What's special about this evening, as Dr. Coleman said, we're all blessed, but we're blessed because of the work others dare to do. We now must walk the paths that have been made for us. The man I want to talk about is not about his academic credentials. You know him, and so do I. The man I want to talk about is not his dedication to work. You know he believes in work. So do I. The man I want to talk about is the Glenn I know, his humanity. You have selected, commissioners, a man of integrity. How do I know? I've known him quite a while. A man who understands what it means to be responsible and trustworthy. A man who understands the obligation that he has to others. That's why he is such a positive role model. The man I want to talk about is a man who understands the essence, not of religion, but of spirituality. Glenn is a bridge builder, and I'm not talking about engineering. I'm talking about building human relationships. That's the Glenn I know. I know a person named Glenn who cares about tomorrow by investing himself in today. And I will close by simply saying, the Glenn I know not only has faith for the present, but he has hope for tomorrow because of what he's going to do today. Congratulations, Glenn.
Good evening. Muy buenas noches. Ladies and gentlemen, if I knew that I was going to talk after Chancellor Carter, I would have asked to go first. Thank you to the elders for their blessings. I want to join Senator Coleman in that story because in addition to the efforts of the legislature and the legislators, Black and African Americans, the Latino Puerto Rican Affairs Commission bill was introduced before, and it was one of the conditions for its approval in 1994 that we would have an African American Affairs Commission subsequently. And that's an important story because it united the Black and Puerto Rican caucus back then, and it united the minorities in the legislature. And I hope that you can understand and you believe in their wisdom. Otherwise, I will be out of a job very soon. But for me, tonight is very, very special. Tonight is an evening of celebration, yes. But for me, it's very personal. 11 years ago, I was in this same room, and they were having an event introducing me as the first executive director. And now I have been blessed with the opportunity to work with every single executive director before Glenn. And I am sure that this is a new beginning. And this is a new beginning because now, 11 years ago, my office was at the 5th floor, very tiny space. And every day I was coming, I had to part of the LOB, and I glamorized this position. I said, wow, I have the opportunity to serve the people of Connecticut. And every day I was walking down the hall, I was filled with pride. And imagine me, this Puerto Rican that didn't know enough English, coming to the state capital. And here I am 11 years after talking to you, invited. Indeed, it's an honor to be here with all of you. But I want to tell you stories that no one else can tell. When you listen to that beautiful poem, it is true. We have much more in common. But African Americans and Latinos in this state, we have many things in common, and we have a responsibility to fight for the benefit and empowerment of our communities. We still have the lowest numbers in attainment and higher education gender. We have people representing us disproportionately to our population incarcerated. We have many of our brothers and sisters infected with HIV. We have 40% of us that do not have access to medical care and do not have insurance. So, yes, this is an evening of celebration, but this is an evening of commitment. And my message tonight is not to the luminaries that are here. No, it's specific to Glenn CASSIS. Glenn is not going to be easy. 11 years in my office, I have received threats, racist call, our secretary crying because people don't understand why they were hating us so much. One day they were saying, how come we don't have a German commission? How come we don't have an Italian commission? And they missed the boat. And we have a responsibility to bring to every legislator, senator, and representative the demand. When Mr. Coleman was talking about those bills, we introduced those bills before, and we testified about it. This is nothing new. We have the responsibility to unite and demand that our voice is heard. And the only way we can do that is first, if we have the responsibility to have a comprehensive agenda and present it. Second, if you, starting from the elders all the way to the children, support us in the community, and specifically, let's start tonight with the commitment that the senators and the representatives will pay attention to what we have there. We can agree or disagree on many aspects, but let's agree that our agenda is still on. And as the anthem said, Let's march together until victory, until victory is won. Thank you.
Well, I'm Jerry Long, and I want to give respect to the elders, the elected officials who are here, the commissioners, and I feel like it's done for. Now I got to follow him. not Dr. Carter, I got to follow you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to be up here and say a few words for you. And I wanted to, when I talked to Glenn about this evening, I asked, well, what should I say? And he said, Jerry, you're an economic person, talk about economic development. And that's all I know how to talk about, is business and how to make money and that kind of thing. So, but I was so pleased when he asked me to speak. And one of the things that he had told me was that the new direction or the new theme of the agency is going to be about the family. When we talk about the family, we talk about educating everybody, we talk about health care of the family, talk about housing for the family. And one of the things I want to talk about this evening is economic empowerment for the family. And I do know a little bit something about economic development. I'm a commissioner in Bloomfield, and I've owned my own computer company for the past 19 years. It'll be 19 years in January. And as Glenn will mention a little bit before, in a minute, we're going to talk a little bit about family and how we can take care of our own village. We must get our own house in order to work with each other. And what does this mean to me? I remember when in 1988, I was in the winter of 1988, I was fired from the Hurricane Insurance Group. They call it a layoff, and I call it fire. In essence, that's what happened. They fired me. And I said, well, what am I going to do? Well, I'm just got to figure out what I got to do. So I decided to start my own company, and I've had a lot of ups and downs, and the recession of the 90s, the Y2K scare, the dot-com bust, the Clinton years, the Bush years, and now today, with the Democrats taking over both houses of Congress, it seems like some agendas for the family will be heard. Instead of the word economic development, though, I'd like to talk about the word economic empowerment. And one of the ways that we can do that is, I think we need to outwork, outthink, outdo the competition. And a lot of us go in business for ourselves, and a lot of us are valuable employees for others. And I was talking to Dr. Coleman just a minute ago, and I was saying that I, as an employer, have difficulty finding people that I can hire that will stay with me for a while, people who look like me. I'm hiring a significant amount of Asians right now, and they seem to be the only ones that want to do the kind of work that I do. And I'd like to see some of our folks come in and take some of these high-paying jobs. And I think that that's how Glenn is going to be able to help us. He used to run the Connecticut CPEP engineering program, and those kids that he had were the kind of kids that eventually I would like to hire. Those are the kind of students that I'm going to be looking for to hire in my organization. And my basic belief is that all the jobs will not be outsourced. Some of the jobs are going to stay around. I mean, a lot of us have heard the words about outsourcing and jobs going overseas. Well, I do it too, but everybody else does it as well. But all the jobs are not going to go overseas. And I'm going to look at Glenn to try to help me keep some of those jobs here. And I think that's the legislative agenda that we should be looking at. Now, just one word about Glenn. I've known Glenn for probably 20 years. We probably spent time on the Bloomfield Education Commission. We spent time, when I first met him, with Brian Harris. I was very glad to meet him. And we've got a champion here now that we feel is going to do some good things here in the state of Connecticut. And Glenn, like everyone has said before me, you got your accolades the day you walk in, and then you got to be able to put the pedal to the metal to make sure that happens. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank all of the speakers and also at this time all of our partners who are present for your time, for honoring us with your time, for the work that you do, for your wisdom and for your well wishes.